My journey has been pretty bumpy, I would say. Many times, I didn't really take it as serious. Thought it was more of like a hobby until I started actually beating people that were somewhat good, and then I realized what I had. My dad would tell me that I had a lot of potential and that I could make it really far. And once I started beating people and winning nationals, I realized like, oh wow, he's right. I realized that I wanted to be able to dominate the country, and that was hard. There was a lot of good competition out there, a lot of good talent. Once I got there, then I realized there's a whole world out there. I was 12 years old when I started boxing. I had my first fight when I was 12, and I think I was training probably about like 4 months or 5 months before I got my first fight.
It never crossed my mind that Alyssa will take on boxing. So she's always has been around the boxing since she was 1 year old, but I never show any interest on it. We used to go to the gyms and train, and because my son used to come to nationals, and so was my daughter. And she never really was one of those kids that used to go and punch the bags or mess around. No, it used to be, like I say, a good kid, sit down. And then Alyssa started showing a little more interested. I think she was probably 11. She came to me one day and she asked me that if I hold mitts for her. And I said, baby, you are not gonna fight. And he said, well, Dad, I'm your daughter and you don't want to match wet with me. And then, the guilt got to me. I said, okay, let's go. So I got in the ring, started working with her, and I mean, it's like one of those things that you right away know, it's like, okay, she is a natural.
Having my dad as my coach is probably the best thing for me. The chemistry between us, I thought I was as close as I was with my dad, and then we end up getting closer. He knows my limits and he knows how far he can push me. And he also knows how to motivate me and talk to me to make me basically perform at my best. He's taught me everything I know, not just in boxing, but in life too. For the most part, I always listen to him as best as I can. And I realize the more I fight with him, the more I'm making it hard on myself. But when I give in and just do everything he asks, that's when I would perform better. So I just started always doing that.
The relationship that we have as father and daughter and coach and a boxer is way beyond probably every coach and every boxer out there. The trust that she has on me and the belief that I have on her, it kind of give us both what make us a team. Because I can tell, okay, baby, you got to walk through there. Close your eyes and she'll do it, because she trusts me. The success that Alyssa has always been there, always has. Since the first nationals that we ever come, and her first fight, she beat the #1 in the nation in USA team.
Probably Silver Gloves was my first nationals. I think I was 15, and I had fought a Team USA fighter and I beat them. And I realized I was actually pretty good.
It's always been in there. It's just coming from Idaho, we have no exposure. It's hard to get the recognition that you deserve sometimes. But like I say, it's always been there. For me, it always has been there.
With her doing it is we've kind of went about it in the small doses of literally just to get her from one stage of the boxing to the next. It's all been exciting. Even though we've set a goal, and when she reaches it, it doesn't always go the way that we hoped, but it has always turned out better. And sometimes she has had the harder path, but then it seems more glorious on the other side. Oh, that worked out better than we anticipated. So I'd say that's almost what it is. I think it's a better than anticipated journey.
The biggest one that almost made me quit was probably in 2018. That year I went 5-8. So I only won 5 times and I lost 8 times, and I hate losing. So losing 8 times in that year was breaking me. And then I went to Salt Lake Nationals to make the junior team, and I lost the first day, just right off the bat. And losing the first day sucks. And I told my dad, I don't know what the point of this is if I'm not winning. I'm very thankful for my family at that point, because they lifted me up when I was down low. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that or them.
One of the big foundations in Alyssa's staying so focused is because since she was little, and even to my other kids, I always have to tell them, you will never put anything about family. When you need your support, when you need your comfort, when you need your encouragement, when you need your guidance, you get it from your family.
I'm very, very close with my father. And then my stepmom is also a big supporter of mine. I talk to her for hours and hours on end, actually, about anything.
I think we have a really good relationship. I can talk to her and be anything that she needs me to be for her as she's getting older. That I can be a mom when she needs a mom. I can be a friend when she needs a friend.
And then I have my 3 little siblings that absolutely just love and adore and miss them very much. And then I have my stepsister Alex, which is my best friend, has been my best friend for as long as I've known her, which was I was 9.
We've always been so close, and like our bond, I like to describe it as like no other. We look the complete opposite, and like a lot of people don't even think that we're alike in any way, but we're actually like so much alike, and we always have so much fun with each other. And I met her when I was 7 and she was 9, and then ever since then we just always grew up with each other. And even like sometimes when times would get hard, it would be so nice to just go to her or she'd come to me, and we're just always there for each other and always by each other's sides. Like there was never a time where it's like we weren't together or something. And it's harder now because she's here all the time, but I mean we still text a lot and we still have the same connection. I've had friends, but like I don't know, none of them are like Alyssa. I can't even really explain in words how much like our bond means to me, but having her has just like made my life so much more amazing.
We have a very close relationship, and yes, we are growing up and kind of growing apart because she has her stuff and I have my stuff, but I will never ever have a best friend like her. I told my dad I was gonna quit, and he was like, you know what, okay, you're gonna do chores around the house, you're not, you know, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And I was like, fine, you know. He's like, you can't just like do nothing with your time. So I started doing my chores, and then as soon as he was about to go drive to training, he just came into the bathroom when I was cleaning the bathroom, and he was like, nope. He's like, you're too good. He's like, you are way too good. I'm not gonna let you quit. And it's the potential that he saw in me that I didn't see in myself, that he just, yeah, he made me train when I didn't want to. But in the end, that's what I needed. I needed someone to push me.
Sometimes she knew she was not okay. And I think the only reason why she stayed when some of those low blows came out to her is because she trusts me. She see how much I believe on her, made her believe she is that good.
I'd say I grasped onto church a lot. My dad and I went to church, and there was this sermon about keeping your hands busy. And my dad looked at me and he was like, you need to keep your hands busy, which is what us boxers always do. I realized like, okay, I felt like God was telling me I couldn't stop. My dad was talking to me a lot. And at home, it's like when I needed that emotional support, like everyone in the household was there for me, for sure. Yeah, I'm very strong about my faith. I believe that everything I owe is to God. I wouldn't be here for sure if it wasn't for God. And he has allowed me to get this far in my dream because he knows my heart and he knows my passion. I'm so thankful that I have gotten this far, that I know he is beside me. Every time I fight, I know he's in the ring with me. Becoming an Olympian became a goal for me when I was like 14 or 15. And I wanted to go to Tokyo in 2020. Although I didn't know that I was too young and everything, all the steps that it took, then I realized, okay, like Paris, I'll be 20, I'll be perfect age. Ever since then, I was just trying to take it day by day, take it nationals by nationals, fight by fight. But me and my dad talked a lot about it, what an Olympian meant, which is, you know, anybody can go pro, but being an Olympian is one of those things that not very many people can say they have accomplished. And that's what I wanted to do, is to reach that level of being that small percent of one of those people becoming an Olympian. The Pan Am's experience was, I guess I have mixed feelings about that. For sure, losing the first day was really heartbreaking. Losing the first day sucks really bad. But I took good from it because I'd never been on stage that big of bright lights and being, you know, watched and talked about and everything. And I loved it. I loved that excitement of all the attention being on me on the big stage. So I was very thankful to experience that. But at the same time, it ended up making me better for Italy. I knew what I had to work on, and I knew that I needed to be different for the next coming tournament if I wanted to qualify for the Olympics.
The Pan American Games were, I think we all went into it like, she's there, she's gonna get qualified. It didn't go the way we hoped. She didn't get the decision. It was a big defeat in a lot of ways, but with that hope of there's another qualifier.
I was really sad because being there, it was absolutely amazing. And I, of course, wanted her to qualify so bad. And I also, it made me like more sad because I was like, I know how it affects her. I knew it wasn't over, and I knew she wasn't gonna let it like take over either. Because like I know she uses her losses as motivation and she grows from them, which is amazing, and it's hard for a lot of people to do that.
Italy by far is one of my favorite tournaments that I've ever done. I love fighting that much because it makes me feel so alive. The fact that I was able to fight 5 times, a lot of people told me that I had it the hardest, but I was thankful to have it like that because it pushed me and it made me feel alive to be able to compete that much against different countries and to do what I did and to get better progressively every day. I take a lot of good from that trip. In the end, we didn't accomplish the goal that I wanted to, but I am very thankful for Italy and that the experience that I got was pretty significant. It was tough. It was really tough. I guess I felt lost. It kind of felt like I failed in a way of like, I failed God. I failed like my family because I truthfully thought that tournament was mine. And when it didn't go that way, I thought it was my fault that I gave it away.
She just came to me and held me and he just cried. And she said, I'm not gonna make it there. And I said, no, you will. You will make it there. I said, we still have time. He said, but how? How? I said, we'll make it. He said, trust me, we'll make it. And she knows I don't make promises. I never made promises. And that's the only time I made a promise to her. And I know if I didn't find the way to make her understand that she can be one of the best in the world, it was gonna be me letting her down.
That one was probably my hardest loss to watch of her. I really thought she was gonna get her hand raised, and when they didn't, I like literally broke down crying for her only because I wasn't there. And I knew she was gonna be really devastated. I think for the most part, she's very strong. I think she dealt with it pretty good, but I think preparing then for the next one, I think it did make it harder for her. But it ended up being almost the best preparation for her greatest tournament that I've honestly ever witnessed of her fighting.
I think it's the one who was almost pushed her to the edge. I think that's the one that really, really could have took her out because she did everything right. I mean, look, those fights, you can do better than that. You know what I mean? You literally can do better than that. I mean, literally, she did everything right. But like I say, it's a plan and it's something beyond us that was getting it ready for what is coming.
And there was no mistake about it, you know. The plan is going as it should be going, and I am meant to go to Thailand and, God willing, get my ticket there. To be completely honest, I had no expectation at all. With the Pan Ams in Italy, I had the expectation I was ready, confident, was ready to go qualify, but this time I had no expectation and I was ready to kind of just go with the flow and really just put my trust in God. I would say I felt like I was let down in Pan Ams in Italy. I had hurt a lot after those losses, so I didn't want to go through that hurt again. So this time I kind of just let go. I let go of the pressure, I let go of outside voices and everything, and I just went with no expectation. I would say I was very self-sufficient when it came to Pan Ams and in Italy. I believed that I could do it all by myself, but this time I felt like I had no other choice but to rely on God, because this was the last chance. And as much as I wanted to believe in myself and everything, I believed in Him more, which overcame all my confidence struggles, and that was more than enough. I had to fight the first day, and I was the only one in my weight class to fight the first day, so that kind of surprised me, but at the same time, I always have to fight the most. I feel like I must be lucky of some sort because it's always me. But I look at it as a good thing, because the more experience I got from that tournament, it worked out really well. And I always feel like God chose me to fight that many times. Like, what are the odds that I have to fight that much? It was a tough first fight, I would say. That girl I had sparred in the training camp before that. And then when I went to fight, I hadn't fought in an environment like that, because Bangkok and just Thailand in general is just a different type of country where the humidity and the heat. So when I went into that fight, I still felt ready mentally. I was there, I was ready to do what I was supposed to do, but it ended up getting really close. Everyone was telling me, like, push her back, you know, keep pushing her back, be the first to punch. In the third round, I had all intention of doing that until randomly, I just started sidestepping and just boxing her, not getting hit. That ended up winning me the last round unanimous. So I was really tired after that fight. I slept good that night, but I was ready for the next three. I fought Greece, and I heard that she was southpaw and she was strong. I think she's a little bit older, so she has more experience. But I knew ultimately that in my skill, I believed I was fast enough to kind of get in and get out and get my points in and then just kind of box around. I guess I knew I had the confidence in myself for that fight that I didn't see myself losing that fight. So I fought Ukraine. Her body language kind of showed me, I guess, that she was, I wouldn't say scared, but a little timid, maybe. And whenever I see that from whoever I fight, I kind of boost me up of like, oh, okay, like they're already walking into the ring with a little bit of doubt, you know? So I try and take advantage of that. That whole day before I fought in the finals, I was crying a lot. And not like I was sad or anything, but I was thankful and I was praying to God a lot of like, okay, like I'm here again. I'm here where you've set me to be. And I had told Him I had came to terms with losing and winning. And that's hard to say for a lot of boxers, because a lot of boxers don't even want it in their head. They don't even want to think about the concept of losing. But I feel like that makes it so powerful in your head that you're scared of it. And I didn't want to be scared of anything going into that tournament. So I came to terms with winning and losing. I told God, you know what, if I lose, that's okay. You're ultimately the one that should get all the glory either way. I'll have a strong testimony winning or losing. So of course I wanted to win. It was in my heart. I've always had this dream for a long time, but at the end of the day, I love God more than getting my ticket. Nobody wants to come to terms with losing. I hate losing. Being in the sport, losing is one of those things that really can devastate you. I was devastated after Italy, and I didn't want that again. So I felt like instead of being scared of losing and letting it hold that power over me, I couldn't let myself get like that again. So I had to come to terms with it, and I did a lot of praying. I talked to God a lot about it, and so I was okay.
Prior to the finals, I was still struggling myself with Italy. I was still blaming everybody. I did. I was probably going the same thing that she was going through. I still remember the day of the finals, 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, I couldn't go to sleep. She was not fighting until almost 6 o'clock, 6:30. Finally, I decided to get up, come out and go pray. I didn't pray about, I give us the victory, I didn't pray about any of that. I just prayed to God. You knew that you put us here for a reason, and whatever the outcome is, whatever it is, we got to be happy with it. When Alyssa came out and we walked into the ring and I saw her face and I saw the peace and how happy she was, and I knew she was going to be okay.
I was sitting there and I was thinking about, you know, if I don't get it, that's okay. And just letting those thoughts come. And then I thought to the other side, you know, if I do get it, then what am I going to do? You know, then I have a whole, I'm going to be basically living my dream. if I do get it. But I kept a balance of, okay, if I don't, if I do, if I don't. And then when I went into the ring, I was just focused on performing, one round at a time. First round was 3-2, so I guess it was pretty close. And then the second round, I had figured her out. I knew exactly what I needed to do to win the fight. And it made perfect sense of, okay, you know what? She drops her hand, or if she does this, she leans this way. And I just kept catching her. Second round was unanimous, last round was also unanimous, and then I ended up getting my ticket. When
I saw how she fought the first round and how she came out the second round, I knew it. I knew it. I knew that that was it. I knew that she had made it.
So it was such a different fight to watch, because it was like, this is it. And when she did it, it was super emotional. She did it. She did exactly what she set out to do. And she didn't, just barely make it. Like, she made a statement with her wins.
Watching when she won, like, oh my gosh, like, I would watch that video over and over. The video made me cry when she just fell to the floor. Like, oh, it gives me chills. And it's like, my sister is like, I don't know, she's so amazing. And I was so happy that happened for her. I knew she could do it, but it's like, to actually see it happen, it was like, oh my gosh, like it's real now. Like, my sister is an Olympian. Like, I think it's so cool. It was a memorable moment that I'll never forget. It wasn't so much about getting my ticket that was the greatest feeling. The greatest feeling was how, I guess, I hit such a low point after Italy that I was ready to quit, and I didn't know if I would be strong enough to do it again. But then after that fight, I realized that God had carried me through, and even though I had came to terms with losing, He still knew the desire of my heart, of my dream, and He was so gracious enough to give it to me. And that was probably the best feeling that I got from winning that fight.
Like I say, since the first day that I held Mets, I knew she was special. It just needed to be guided, protected, and encouraged. That's all she needed. And I knew that anybody else would have not done that for her. For me to being able to be part of it, like I say, it's a blessing.
When I was younger, I used to think that it meant, I was going to make my family proud and make myself proud. But more than anything, I think I can be a figure to be looked up to as someone that holds a powerful testimony. And of course, I'm still learning every single day. But I hope that everybody struggles through life. Everybody has a hard time. And maybe our situations are different, but maybe they're not so far apart either, So I hope that with my struggles and everything, and I show that I was able to come back from it, I hope anybody struggling in life, whether it's a job or with family or whatever, that you can come back through it. But not by yourself, not self-sufficiently. You have to rely on God to do it. I believe Alyssa deep down and just like overall is such an amazing person. And I'm so happy to have her as my sister and to grow up with her. I love Alyssa so much, and I'm so thankful for her and for everything she's also done for me. And I wouldn't want any other sister or any other person, friend, to be by my side like how she is. When she really gives her heart to something, you feel it. If she gives it to you, if she's giving it to boxing, anything that she does is she's pouring every ounce of herself into it, and it shows. I'm just overwhelmed with just happiness for her. Happy to see she's happy and that she's proud of herself. I think that's the ultimate honor, to even be able to share our lives with her and be able to just be here with her and be part of her journey. And she's just super special, and I think everybody sees it too.
I just miss her. I'm very proud of her. I don't think Quesadilla could ask for anything better. We know we're not perfect, but to me she is. If I have to go through everything that I went through to get where she's at. I would do it 10 times again because it's worth it. Every travel, every hour that we spend, places, you know, away from the family and everything else, I would do it again. I will do it again over and over because it's something that, you know, how some things you know you're always gonna have. Well, all those memories that I have with her, they're with me. She is where she's supposed to be at. And that right there, I mean, I'm not gonna get on the way for that. She deserves to be there. She deserves everything that's coming to her. She has worked for it. And I'm glad that it's her. I really do. I love you, Mia.
It's been a really long process, and I've worked really, really hard to do it. Of course, I rely on God every day to carry me through. I already feel overwhelmed by His grace, that I have everything that I need. I feel like I'm honestly spoiled. So coming back with a gold medal, I would feel so overwhelmed by His grace and His love that He gave me my deepest desire of my heart. I wouldn't have any words. Like I said, I'm spoiled. Getting to be here every day doing something that I love, and also by making my family proud. I honestly don't live a better life than this, and I'm really thankful for everything that USA Boxing has done for me and that they've never given up on me too.